follow along for your active hip opening stretch routine. This routine is meant to be done as dynamic stretches before athletic activity or after a light warm-up to get those hips rotating and open. So I have 7 exercises, dynamic stretch movements that go straight through, each being 1 minute. We start off in a standing position and work our way down to the floor, so keep that in mind as you plan your space. Our first stretch is walking lunges. So you're gonna come with me in 14 seconds, and each of these intervals is gonna be dictated by a beeping tone and timer. In the last 8 seconds, you'll also see some clues coming up on the screen. So we're going to those walking lunges. We step forward, feet hip width apart, and we bend our back knee down towards the floor. In this process, it's really important to squeeze the bum. So we tuck those hips under as we go down towards the floor. Now, if you don't have a lot of space, simply step forward, bend that back knee down, squeeze the bum, and then step back into that neutral position, squeezing the bum to catch and balance. And then you alternate sides. If you want to take that stretch up a notch, you can reach up towards the ceiling with the same arm as the leg that's going down towards the floor. And you can even add a small lean to the side at the bottom of that stretch. So you're going to really feel the stretch through the front of the hips and thighs. And if we've gotten moving like walking around first, those legs are going to get nice and warm. Next up, we have a lateral lunge with a reach. So our toes are pointed straight ahead, feet are wide. We sit down into one leg, stacking our toes, knees, and hips into a lateral lunge. Stand up, we pivot our feet and reach across our body, squeezing the bum again. So as we sit down into this lateral lunge, we're gonna feel a stretch through the inside of that thigh, pivot and squeeze the bum to reach across. So we feel this nice deep stretch along the inside of the thigh. That's our adductor muscle along the inside of the thigh that causes our knees to collapse in. We're warming up and opening up that hip on that right side in that lateral lunge. And as we reach across the body, we keep the shoulder down and back. We're also getting a nice stretch on our lat, which invests all the way into the back of our pelvis. Go ahead and switch legs. So same thing, opposite side. Sit down into that one leg, stacking those toes, knees, and hips, pivoting the feet, and then reaching across. I'm gonna turn to the side so that you can kind of see what it looks like as I pivot. My feet are hip width apart, and I keep my toes pointed straight ahead as I reach across my body. You do not have to touch all the way down towards the floor. We only go down as deep as what is comfortable. And you might notice that one inside thigh is tighter than the other. Totally normal. We are asymmetrical beings. So sometimes we need to stretch asymmetrically. So if you notice one side is tighter, keep going until you no longer feel that stretching sensation. In 8 seconds, we're gonna go to a squat with a lunge side to side. So these are more dynamic lateral lunges. So our toes point straight ahead, but they stay wide. We sit into a wide squat, and then we pivot to one side, stacking those toes, knees, and hips, over to the other side, back to the middle, up and squeeze. Now, what we might notice is the side that we feel that stretch along the inside of our thigh, we really want to focus on that opposite knee going out over those toes. So I want you to make sure that it stays stacked. We don't want the knee going out this way or pulling in. We should be toes, knees, hips, as if we're up against a wall. So shift to the side, feeling those hips open up and rotate, back to the middle, up and squeeze. 14 seconds here. We're gonna go down. So this one's kind of a dynamic up and down movement. It's a longer stretch because we're going to a lunge with a rotation. All right, so we start off in standing. We step one foot towards the floor, and we reach the opposite hand down, and we rotate up towards the ceiling into a T. Step back, switch legs, switch arms, rotate. Feel those hips open up. This is gonna feel like a nice stretch through the outside of those hips. Again, we wanna feel that knee squeezing out in alignment with those toes as we step down, open up into that T. So again, we're getting a nice big rotation through those hips, and then even through the upper back and upper body. But I'm getting a nice stretch through the outside of my hip on the leg that is forward. Nice and open there. Trying to keep those shoulders down and back. This one kind of requires a little bit more space. And then the next two after this one, we're actually going to go down towards the floor. So rotate that body up, opening as much as you can, paying special attention to whatever side feels tighter. Down to 10 seconds. We're going to come down to the floor for a windshield wiper or 90-90 stretch. So we're going to sit on the floor, and we're going to bring our legs into 90 degrees each way. All right, now we can sit down towards that front leg, and then we rotate the legs, hitting that 90 degrees each way, and then down towards that front leg. Up, rotate, noticing that those knees and hips stay at those 90 degrees, and then you just kind of sit forward into that front leg, getting that nice stretch through the outside of that hip on that front leg. 15 seconds, and we're gonna go to a box stretch, which is very similar to this 90-90 stretch, but down on the floor with our body, our upper body stabilized, and our legs moving in those 90 degree directions. So we rotate the hips, letting those knees fall to the ground, and then rotate again. We want to try to press that knee, this top leg down towards the floor. So we're getting a nice stretch through the hips and insides of the thighs as that upper body stays nice and stable, but we're getting a good rotation through the hips and again through those legs. Nice and controlled exhale as you sink into that position and hold it, and then inhale as you rotate those legs. 6 seconds, and hopefully you're gonna feel like you got those hips nice and moving and open, and feeling like you're ready to get those legs moving, get that body moving. Even though we ended on the floor, if you're going into a cardiovascular event, get up, get moving, bring that heart rate up slowly again so that you're ready for sport. But these dynamic stretches are a great way to open up those hips, get some more mobility, prevent injury, and reduce pain. Let me know how it goes, how it works for you, and if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out.